It was
Yeah,
great.
what
do you think?
This slap.
Yo, Muma.
What is
Muma, what's your
name?
name? What the girl name?
Rashida.
Squiiz?
Yeah,
God knows
Squiiz.
Squiiz.
Yo, this
Squiiz.
slap. At the body fruit. Yo, y'all need to step up y'all thing.
Yeah, yeah. This needs to
Y'all
come
know
bottle
y'all?
and send to New York.
And it's vegan friendly too.
Yeah.
New York is health is the new trend right now.
In New York.
Well, guess what? It's Brooklyn made, so
Where?
Canarsie.
So we don't know
We need a group on the IG.
Yeah,
IG.
follow Squiiz on IG. It's spelled just like that. SQUIIZ.
real good.
Yeah.
Sis?
It's amazing.
I ain't taste this one yet. I ain't taste this one yet, but for right now, I don't know if I'm gonna taste this one. I might buy the next one and this one. This is beautiful.
And it match your outfit too.
Match my outfit.
What's up, what's up? It's your girl, Akila K, and this is Top of the Rain. Today I have with me a very special guest, one of my old high school teachers. I don't know if you want me to call him Mr. J or MC Miladic.
Yeah, whatever you like is cool.
Well, Mr. J, tell us a little bit about yourself, growing up, where you from?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I know that's a general thing that people say, but it is a nice thing. I must have taught you like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact that you thought about me, not that I'm not always grateful for people having me on their shows, but this is extra special because, the fact that you thought about me to do this means a lot, and it's kind of life coming full circle. You were in my class, and then now I'm on your show.
Right.
So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So basically I was born in Iran. My family, we came here probably when I was, I think, 2.5 years old, in the middle of a war and right after a revolution that happened there. Grew up in Jamaica, moved to Jamaica, Queens, grew up in different parts of Queens, and I currently live in Harlem, but still, and teach in Manhattan, as you know, still in the same school. But yeah, Queens is where my heart is at, the most diverse borough in the world.
Yeah, Queens get the money. All right, and I know you travel a lot too, right?
Yeah. So, once I started making a little more money, probably my 5th year in, that first year teaching salary, you come away with nothing extra. So, once I started making a little bit more, I was able to, and then coaching full time, was able to make some extra cash to travel in the summers. So since like 2013, I've traveled every summer consecutively.
Wow,
obviously not
that's goals.
2020 because of COVID.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, I said that's goals.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely one that continues to be my goals. I'm trying to see as much different stuff as possible before we're no longer here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what made you get into teaching?
So I was an economics major for undergrad.
Okay.
And I didn't so one of the things I try to pass on to students is, especially during the pandemic, I made them like a video trying to give them some motivation, and you don't have any motivation if you don't have a purpose.
Yeah.
And so with economics, I had no purpose, so I could get a dean's list one semester, and because of no motivation, I would get academic probation the year after that. Funny because the teacher getting academic probation is ironic. It really is based on your motivation and what your purposes are. Long-term, short-term purposes, little mini goals. So, long story short, I did not want to do anything economics related. I always loved history. My friends always told me that I explain things pretty well. So I was like, you know what? You don't know unless you try it. So,
right.
And I would never expect, when I was a high school student, if you asked me what I wanted to do, teacher is the last thing I would say. But you don't know until you try it, and then the classes were cool. Even then, you don't know how it is until you do it hands-on. And then the student teaching, it was just something I liked to do. I enjoyed being there. So like my favorite part of teaching has been actually taken away because of COVID, which is the in-person human interaction.
Yeah, because I know. I'm sorry. I know when I was in class with you, like, I look forward to your class every day because you made it fun.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It means a lot, and it's not. It's kind of like I wasn't trying to necessarily make it fun. It's for selfish reasons also, because I couldn't be in something that I'm not having a good time in, and
Right.
I can't not make jokes because that's what keeps you sane.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta live life.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, no, your classes was fun between Jeopardy to study for test and you and DJ L Train coming rapping rapping our lessons.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I know you said that you didn't really want to do too much economics when you was in school, but you did end up being my economics teacher, and you definitely taught me how to make a business plan, and that stuck with me. And I want to know if you could share a little bit of that with our listeners.
Definitely. So you're one of the rare people that I had in 10th grade and 12th grade.
Yeah.
So I think I taught you history, world history, and then I used to teach. So right now, to give you the background of like to update you, I teach 5 AP world history classes, so I don't teach economics anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm the only one who teaches that subject. But I still try to instill a little bit of financial literacy. There is, a chance. Whether it be how you should go to college, as far as minimizing your expense in undergrad, because you come away with a bachelor's degree. Like my bachelor's degree was worthless as a standalone, and I was in debt. So just teaching kids that way, and then there's monthly budgets. But yeah, back to your question about so even when I was teaching history back then, I had like 1 or 2 economics classes, and you were in one of them. So one of the projects was how to conduct a business plan. A lot of people, including me, have never been taught financial literacy because our parents didn't know it.
Right.
And so at some point you got to make it your own, mission to learn it.
Absolutely.
And so basically I figured, am I going to just teach these kids supply and demand and just boring stuff from the textbook, or probably the most important subject that should be a subject in its own? There should be just like a course called financial literacy,
right?
Straight up, in my opinion, in all schools in the country. So the business plan was basically, first of all, just to complete transparency, because I think you were one of the first economics classes I had. I had to learn it before I taught it, and then teaching something actually makes you learn it the most, in my opinion. So to have to teach it to somebody else makes you really dig deep and know the nuances of it, and to be able to transfer that information to somebody else. So basically, you can't just kids have ideas of like, oh, what does it take to start a business? Oh, let me just open up a restaurant, or let me just do this. Until you figure out the actual complexities, the details and the complexities and the nuances that go into it. I don't know if you wanted me to explain the actual plan or just why I thought it was important.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, you could give us like a quick breakdown of the sections of it, so that our listeners can have an idea if they want to form their own business plan, where to start.
For sure. And if you look online, if anyone looks online, you might see just to clarify for people who there's no one gospel business plan. There's multiple kinds. Some of them have like an 8-point plan. Some of them have a 6-point plan, 7-point plan. But basically, the first section would be the summary of everything. So you probably should do that section last. Once you have the details of all the other parts
laid out, right?
Excuse me. So, sorry. So basically, you would have to first of all know what you want to do. Right? What you want to do. What is the actual size and scale of what you want to do? Like, what is the business? Is it a hair salon? Is it a restaurant? So on. That's obviously the most important choice. And then what is the space? Are you selling products out of your home, which would reduce cost of like overhead? Are you renting out a place? Do you own the spot? So that, and then the little details, like what is your market, what is your demographic of people you're trying to reach. Most importantly, financial plan, right? Like what is the startup cost? What is your yearly overhead? And based on that, so like let's just say it cost me $1 million to start this business, and yearly it's gonna cost me, let's say 100,000. Let's just throw this number out: 100,000 to run the business. How much revenue am I bringing in? And that's my profit. So let's just say my startup cost was 1 million, and I'm making $100,000 profit per year. Then I know in 10 years I'm gonna break even. So you're able to plan your life backwards, pretty much.
Yeah.
Work from the end backwards, and say like, all right, before I start this business, I know I'm gonna break even in 10 years. And then we did a little bit of stock market stuff, which, I personally was too scared to always was too scared to invest in the stock market. But I just recently, a friend influenced me. He's like, yo, what are you doing? You gotta, told me the importance of like capital gains, how you get taxed at half versus your income check, your regular income check.
Were you scared because you felt like it was gambling, kind of?
Absolutely. So, gambling, and also I was like, what if I just, because I personally don't. I'm glad you asked that, because that's the reason I don't gamble, because I know once I do it, if I start, I have an obsessive mentality, and if I win, I'm gonna put more money in it. If I lose, I'm gonna try to get that money back.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So that's to each, everyone's personality is different.
Yeah.
And you should. There's different ways to invest in the stock market. There's more like long-term, forget about it stuff. And then there's people who literally second by second, they're like, all right, this went up $1, which if you have like 1,000 shares or something, you just made $1,000. Sell right away. Let me buy something else that goes up. They ride the wave. And then there's like, all right, instead of putting it in the bank, I'm going to put let's just call it $10,000 in these stocks that are quote unquote can't lose. I'm going to forget about it.
Yeah.
And it'll grow at a much faster rate than a bank. Obviously, a bank interest would, which is like 0.00000 something percent.
Yeah, I mean, stocks is definitely a good thing to get into. It just takes you doing research and learning what you're doing before you actually jump into it,
Yeah, definitely. And remember, there's not even the stock brokers themselves know what's going to happen for sure. So anything can happen. I think the uncertainty. So one of the things that everyone has things that give them anxiety in life, and I think uncertainty is mine. Like that's my number one thing that makes me feel uneasy, and that's why I didn't get into it, I think.
Yeah, that's understandable. But yeah, stocks is definitely a good thing. Thank you for walking us through a business plan.
No problem. And I didn't just so people know, I didn't go through the step by step, every little step, but like just like a rough idea of what it would take, like management, how many people are going to be in your place, and that all goes into your cost and so on. But yeah, no problem.
Okay, so let's get into the music side, because you are a rapper too.
Yes.
And how long you been doing music?
So I was kind of messing around high school, but nothing serious at all. Like when I say nothing serious, it was like not even recording anything serious. And then messing around kind of a little bit in college. This is probably like 01, 2000, so 20 years about. And so it's funny because I was battling kids in college, and one of my good friends, he influenced me to he's like, yo, you're pretty good, you should join this battle. And then and there was kids who were like off campus kids, so it was not just nerdy college kids, just for the record. So I was all right, I was decent. And then I did like a little college mixtape for other people's mixtapes. There was a group of people who still are in business now. The Coalition, African American based company now, and a lot of those guys actually are dope because they ventured off into their own things, and their own companies, and so they knew about business well before I did, way before I did. And so I should have, now thinking about it, I should have picked their brains about stuff. But it's ironically I got serious about it. So after my undergrad, I did 2 years of the master's, and then I started teaching. So for about 4 years, the 2 years of my master's and the first 2 years of teaching, I didn't even write a thing. So from like 07, maybe 05 to 06 to 20, for like a good 3-4 year period, 06 to 09 or 05 to 09, I didn't write a thing. Even like the stuff that I did for you guys, like French Revolution rap.
Yeah.
That was probably the only thing I did. Actually, did interesting story is I wrote that. I know I'm going on a little bit of tangent here, but I wrote. So I was offered to do a demonstration lesson in the school that you went to, Health Professions, for the supervisor at the time, for the history assistant principal. So I stayed up till 6 a.m. the night before. I wrote a French Revolution rap. I did it in her class, and I incorporated it into the lesson about 3 different revolutions. It was like Cuban, French, and Iranian, which I happen to be, that's where I was born. I was born in that. So I ended up writing that thing, no sleep, went to work, and did the demonstration lesson for her. She offered me the job at the end of the day.
Wow.
But that was the only thing. Yeah, that's true story.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there's actually a kid named Charlie who we still keep in contact on social media. A kid named Charlie who went up to her and he said, "Hey, Miss Erickson, that guy's good. You should hire him." Like he knew all our names. One thing that I'll never forget, he said, "You knew all our names by the end of the class." So that was just a, like music thing. How within the not doing anything for 4 years, I did do that. But so I wrote like a piece and I performed at the New Eurekan. So in 2009, I remember the date because in my country, I'm from Iran, and in my country there was an election fraud, like a real election fraud, not the one Trump claims, but there was an election fraud that like within 2 hours, paper ballots in the whole country were supposedly counted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, people come out, they peaceful protest, and the government cracked down, not like it was, they legally like can beat people and kill people and bust down your door at 3 a.m., take you to the jail for like, oh, we saw you protesting on the street. So anyway, I wrote like and by the way, if I break up at any moment, let me know and
okay.
repeat what I said. But I wrote like a 3-minute piece, and I took my 3-minute piece, I memorized it, I took it to the New Eurekan Cafe on the Lower East Side, and on Wednesdays they have a open mic. Like you got to get there early. There's like only like 30 spots. They go quick, right? And if people who are listening to this are not familiar with it, it's a very famous poetry cafe, based in South Manhattan. We call it the Lower. And I don't know if your listeners are from all over the country, so just bring them up to speed on that before I get into it. It's pretty much if in the poetry world, it's a world famous location, and I did it there, and you get judged on it. So I did that piece about, like, the first verse was about what's going on in the country. Second verse was a follow up, and then the third verse went into the roots of why it's like that in my country today is because of the United States, because of the European powers who created these issues in a lot of our countries. So I broke it down, like, all sides. So I got a perfect score on that. And I just happened to have, this is like right when iPhones first had like filming capability. Okay. So I brought my cousin, he filmed it. I put it on YouTube. It's right now, if you look at it, you would laugh because it's like the most low quality thing in the world. But I mean, again, I know it sounds like a drawn out story, but, so basically my good friend who lived in Minnesota at the time, or maybe, I'm sorry, Kansas City at the time, who he had grown up, he was lived in New York when he was little. He saw that on YouTube. He's like, we got to do a music video for this. Now it's 2010. We did my first music video for it. It was called Blue and Yellow Paint. It's still on YouTube. So Blue and Yellow Paint was based on, because it was called the Green Movement. And it was so bad to the point where the government would crack down. If you bought green paint from a store, it would bust down your door. So people would buy blue paint one day, buy yellow paint the next day, mix it up in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. They would splash the streets with green just to show, like, hey, the movement and the rebellion is still alive.
Yeah.
I think it says I lost my connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're still good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that it was called Blue and Yellow Paint based on that, and then like every one thing led to the next, right? So based on that, a couple guys I went to school with who were in a band were like, hey, we want you to do this show with us in Upper East Side or whatever. It was like, so they were like a rock band, but I was rapping with them, and that led to another show, and that led to people coming. Like, so I had like 70 heads come out one day, and then it led to my own thing. And then so little by little, I was like, oh, I should do a mixtape. So just from that one poetry slam at New Eurekan Cafe, it like triggered a chain of events that led me to continue it like for real seriously.
Wow.
What my point behind the whole thing was that one spoken word open mic event triggered like a chain of events that led to so many different things. And sometimes I think about if I had quit teaching full time and coaching, because I also coach, which takes up a lot of my time, and just if one open mic led to all these videos and music and working with more people and so on, what would happen if you do multiple?
Right. Imagine if you was full time doing music
and do it daily. And
Yeah.
part of it, I can't make excuses. If you really want something, you'll do it. But it's like I'm not choosing between something I love and something I hate. Like I also really like teaching, and like we first started this conversation with one of my goals is to be able to travel the world, and teaching allows me not only financially but vacation time, and just like the opportunity to be able to do one of my life goals. So it's like I can't pass up on that opportunity. It's I'll still do the music as much as I can, but part of me is like, what if, what would happen if I just did that and all my energy went to that?
So do you feel like you're successful? Because everybody has their own definition of success. And when I look at you, I say, dang, he got it going on. Because you're a teacher, you're an amazing teacher, you're a coach. And it's like you live your life teaching, and even like through your music, you're still teaching. Even the music that like I really be bumping and turning up to, like you're still teaching in it. So I look at you and I see success. Do you personally feel like you're successful?
I really appreciate that, and it's funny. It's funny you use this question because I've often posed this question to students. What is your definition of success? And, what is your definition of happiness? To me, happiness is success, right? So like absolutely. You can make X amount of dollars, like a lot of money. And in my opinion, you can still not be successful, and you can make very little money and be successful. Mm-hmm. So basically my definition of success is to be able to maximize your happiness without jeopardizing your future, right. So the reason why I added that second part is because you always have like somebody who's going to nitpick your statement, and if I was like, yeah, definition of success is happiness, and they're like, all right, it makes me happy to do drugs all day every day. So, am I successful? But you are jeopardizing your health and future doing Absolutely. That, and it's not sustainable. So like if you're doing something that makes you happy and it's sustainable for a long period of time, to me that's successful. So And I actually had this conversation with someone, like, I feel like, I'm not to be dramatic, but if I drop dead tomorrow, I lived a very full life. Oh, that's with the relationships with friends, with significant others, with the amount of things I've got to see. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I want to continue to see more and do more.
Yeah, there's more that you want to do. You're not done yet.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for what I've done, and like it would be a very full life if it stopped today, in my opinion. But at the same time, like while I'm here, I want to continue to fulfill the things that give me, enjoyment.
Wow, that's wonderful. All right, so what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna play a quick little game, okay?
Okay.
So you are a history teacher, and I have 5 cards here. Card A through E, right? So you're gonna pick a card.
Okay.
And when you pick the card, you can make up a bar or like a verse or whatever you can, because you can freestyle, right?
I'm a little rusty with the freestyle.
Let's see what you can do with these cards, okay?
Damn, put me on the spot. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put you on the spot. All right, so card A through E. Pick one. A, B, C, D, or E.
I'll go with C, like the multiple choice.
C? All right. Yeah. So you gotta rap about Marion Barry.
Marion Barry, Marion Barry from DC, we taking it back. Just like the stuff I spit, my man was smoking the crack. Hey, yo, man, I'm a rapper, not a dancer. I rep your city where you're at, so I rock the answer. That's
Hey, boom, bars.
That's embarrassing, but thank you though. Thank you.
No, we could do one more. All
right.
All right, pick
Cool,
one. So A, B, D, or E?
Let's go with A.
A. Plus
he did smoke crack, right? He did smoke crack?
Yeah, he did. I actually watched a video last night of when the FBI busted him.
So just for the record, I didn't know that guy was, my history was on point with that.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
All right, so this is Plessy v. Ferguson.
Oh man. Well, I know what the case is about. I'm just trying to put it into a bar here.
All right, you can take a second.
Let me see. Damn. Check it. We go like this. Damn, hold up. I gotta just.
Yeah. Think about it.
A quick. Plessy versus Ferguson. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Brown versus Board of Education overturn that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anytime I bring the bars, I bring out the aces. Just like Brown versus Board of Ed. Anytime I hit the club, I'm switching cases. That's all. That's
Boom.
all.
Listen,
I try to make it a little deep. I try to make a real freestyle is just rhyming.
It goes over your head,
Yeah. cases of liquor, cases of court cases. Yeah. So.
All right, good job, Mr. J.
Thank you.
Miladic. All right, so what we're gonna do now? We're gonna get into your performance real quick.
This is one of my favorite artists, current artists, and favorite beats from him, J. Cole.
Hey.
Bring a little history in this one too. Goes like this. Way better than the freestyle. It goes like this. Yo, I'm coming straight out the straight jacket. Straight rapping, take it way back. In front it on me, ain't no take back. Stay laughing while I raise glasses to the straight path. Less travel, this a payback. I spit poetry over rugged rhythms, grimy melodies. To beat the game, I chose education over felonies. My intuition, get myself into missions that are till the death. Ain't no intermission, no admission to the phony. Only sit and listen to the homies that have lived it. We lit ignition. Nothing given, teach each other how to fish and listen close to when them snakes get to hissing. From no pot to pissing, to manifesting vision that we uttered in the other blissing. This is the devil's kitchen, he'll grant your wishes. Gave you free will, but you chose to glisten. Over true love, you made it but forgot who you was. Got rich off that powder that was white as Ku Klux. Recruit the youth, exclude the truth, and destroy their future for a few bucks. Real vision, the drug game designed to fill prisons. Hand-to-hand dealers or the pawns. Every now and then replace the kingpin. Hear my voice, you feel my ink pen. I got you thinking, I might be the new Nasir. Meets a new Kweli, meets a young Premier. Meets a new Mavi, meets a young Bernie. With El Haj Malik, spitting prophecy. Meets Scorsese, working with Bobby D. Meets the Iron Sheik, Young Kobe. Ain't nobody that can shoot like me. Bah! That was it.
Nice.
Thank you. I should have let the beat rock a little bit more. But,
that was lit.
Under 2 minutes.
You got another song?
Let me do one acapella. I'll do one acapella.
Okay.
This is the intro. So this is the intro to my album called The Cornerstore.
Yeah, you can't see me right now, but I got the hoodie on representing.
Oh wow, yeah, and I appreciate that. I know this interview is like you asking me questions, but I would like to catch up with you too. So I was gonna ask how you're doing, and I always appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you.
But so this is the intro to that. As the smoke fades, a real one's legacy remains. Trends come and go and vanish with the rain. Replenish souls every time I put a pen to page. They rap from a pedestal, they never feel your pain. Real music release energy severed from the chains. Love tatted on my ventricles can never clear the stain. I stare down mirrors, I never leave ashamed. Plant permanent seeds, things will never be the same. Every bar is a two-piece. I scarred a loose leaf. For this I lose sleep. trying to lose me, abused and confused by the dudes who use the art form to consume green. Victory belongs to true artists you'll soon see. Queen's groom with a Teflon type of temperament. I was born in the middle of war. I never settled for they sedatives, repetitive news flashes, selling us a corporate motto to follow and call it etiquette. With only an elite that reap the deep benefits. Ever since I heard the genesis on Nas's first joint, my head has been infected with a pestilence. My ballpoint curse, point, burst, verse is automatic from the surface to the furthest depths. Word is all that matters. In a world that all that matters is image, I pillage norms till I'm gone and the earthworms squirming on my mat. I leave the planet waving haymakers firm when all has shattered and all have scattered. Thank you.
Wow. And you talking about all that matters is image, and like that whole thing was imagery. Like I could see everything that you was saying.
Wow, that means a lot because one thing a lyricist tries to one of their goals, and my goals is to always try to paint a picture. So you acknowledging that means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on, talking, teaching, doing your thing.
It was a pleasure, and I'm very grateful to be on. Thank you for having me, and also I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Doing your thing, you know. So it's good to see. You know, it's funny. One of the things they measure schools by is like how you. I don't know how they do it, like how you keep track of people going forward, but if you make kids college and career ready, and you know, I'm not taking any credit for it, but just to see somebody who I taught doing what you're doing, and you were always a dope human being and a respectful, nice person as a kid, and to see that you haven't changed is dope. It's very dope to see.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's just the truth. No problem.
Thank you. Yeah, I would love to have you on the show again. Like, this will be so cool once, you know, COVID is over and you could actually come in person. That'd be really dope. Yeah.
100%. I would love to.
And your merchandise for the Cornerstore, or any other merchandise that you have, how can people purchase?
I appreciate. So it's interesting that you say business plan. Like, one of the disclaimers that I should have gave with the business plan that I'm learning from people, and one thing I never want to do, I never want to stop learning from people.
Absolutely.
So actually, one of the people who's on my album, he's been rapping forever, and he's like the underground legend. This guy Mozzie, he put his merch on so basically, to answer your first question, is that I would just sell it personally, like I would put it on Instagram and do it personally. But he gave me a much more efficient way to do it. So you kind of like make to order. So instead of me like buying 30 hoodies and then seeing a loss if I don't get sell all of them, or he gave me a way to do it more efficiently, and they ship
like
it
drop shipping.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Like drop shipping.
So I never did it yet. So I forgot the name of the company, but I can give you the name offline when I go check the messages between him and I.
Okay.
So actually, just another thing that to bring it full circle you asked me if I was successful, if I feel successful. On that same album because it just reminded me because Mozzie is on the album, on that same track that he's on, somebody whose poster that I had on my wall as a kid is on that track as well. So the famous Queensbridge rapper, legend in the streets, legend in the music game, and although he's not as famous as other rappers today, for me, that was a personal, because I was a fanatic. I liked him better than a lot of the famous people. I still do. So he was actually on that song called Dreams with my good friend Mozzie and myself. So I know that was like unrelated to your merch question, but it just, my thoughts work that way.
Yeah,
so
but dang, imagine rapping or singing or doing whatever you love alongside somebody who you looked up to, That is dope.
Yeah, and it was surreal because we did it in the studio. It wasn't like you pay for it, I'll send you the verse type of thing.
Yeah.
Because that does happen a lot, but it was actually like I'm sitting in the studio with Cormega, who's a legend. So that was cool.
That's dope. That's really dope. All
but
right.
when I do shift over to the new updated merch format, I'll definitely let you know, and hopefully if I'm back on the show soon, I'll plug that as well. I appreciate you asking about it.
And your music, it's on all streaming platforms?
Yes, I believe it's on Tidal as well. I added that later, but it's on all digital, all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Apple, Spotify. It's Miladic, and then the album is called The Cornerstore. 2 words.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll definitely put it up in the video and put it in the links in the bios and all of that, so people can know.
Sweet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but thank you again for joining us.
No problem, and I'm sorry if it was rushed. I got people from the outside out of my control, but
yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like we covered a good amount of stuff, so somebody's gonna be moved by your presence today.
I really appreciate that, man. It was. I enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. All right. Yes, I did too. So have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And you're in Florida, right?
Yeah. So
man, soak up enough sun for the both of us.
Yeah. It's like 65, but I'll still go out and get some sun on the dome.
Yeah, it's still a little better than out here because it's freezing outside. You can see the frost coming out your mouth.
Definitely.
All right, so it was nice talking to you. We'll catch up later on.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much again.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
No matter the game, real people don't change. But y'all growing up like you thought you would. Text the cell, same number, same hood, it's all good. And if you don't know, now you know. Player, sing with Monica, sing with Monica. No. Living and learning the vision from different directions. Collections of ideas put together by fear. Happiness is right here. 5 years in the front lines, the faces of young minds debating and breaking the abuse of temptation and patient and changing. Sunshine sometimes blinded. Diligent resilience, outshine millions. Combined talent and grind, outcome is brilliant. Killing is not being happy is the truth. Knowledge in the booth, knowledge in the knowledge and proof. They try to go. Confidence approved, united is the move, positive results cool, but process is proof of journey over destination, learning about earning over getting bricks and building skills in this wilderness, call like you're built for this. And if you don't know, now you know, player. You know very well who you are. Don't let hold you down. Reach for the stars. You let go.
They don't want their vote back anymore. They want their country back.
I think they've reached a point of no return now.
Is deleted, no voice, blood moistens the streets as it leaks, seeps deep as it reaches the feet of the beast while they hoist the defeated leader. Peace treason, hard to preach reason. Like the heart of each season, weather's starting to change. The toughest go against the roughest part of the grain. Enough is enough as ruckus erupts and they martyr your name. Lust in the bus, busting with cuffs and get carted away. Part of the blame on alleged Western propaganda. It's how they launder the shame. Smother mothers, father, sons, and slaughter daughters the same. Barter the pain, a lost life with self-proclaimed rights that they ought to remain. All part of the game, grave choice, conform to the grave, cough in the cave while the whole nation prays to wash the blood stains with the fall of the rain. Bitch made dictator, listen close, you can hear the brave calling your name. The truth is I feel useless. Sit, watch news clips, fill up a rage. Feels like a cage, all I can do is fill up a page. Few sheets bout how all the children are brave. Secret police leave women in graves. Live in a place where the scene is grotesque. Fuck peaceful protests, even this rap shit's tired. I should sit the rhymes down. Pick up live rounds, really spit fire. Grip liars by their lion jaws. With my lion claws, I will never fall. I am iron jawed. Never jog on the track, rhyming force like the iron horse. I applaud all those who try and march for miles of blocks. Tired of cops fighting fire with desire and rocks. Dying to stop violent plots of the supreme leader. Buy him a box, fire a shot. 6 foot drop, permanent retirement spot where he's gonna be eternally. The climate is hot. Not talking about the weather, never back down. Pump your fist now, all together. Freedom ain't a dream, it's a natural necessity. Won't hand it to you, ain't magical. Your destiny is there for you to grab. The truth is the only thing that's meant to be. Taxes and rest in peace. Axes they said we're evil. Fact is the recipe for what you see is levels deep. Let me speak. See, this is deeper than election, deep beneath all the repression of my peeps. You see the seeds of an obsession of the West to feed the need to seize concessions. Seek protection, heed the lessons. Seek a weapon is oil, so they invest in they toil and make a mess in our soil, and make a nest in our soil, and make a mess in our toilets, making eggs in our boiling water. Other words, eat off resources and live off from the author of instability in the Middle East. Way before Sodom and Bin Laden was the fall of the Ottoman. Divided, then conquered, then plotted in confidence. Prominent invasions for dominance. 53 overthrew the Dr. Muhammad in my nation, and no one knew they wasted the only true occasion. For democracy traded sloppily for Western puppet policy. We all got to see when power ain't deep rooted, it's booted properly, and probably the same today. Cause they mistake once you let people taste the cake, it's hard to take away. So let the marchers make a way. Set the spark as the faithful pray for that fateful day when they would trade symbols. 2-finger piece for 1 trigger piece. Pistols and they will say death to the dictator.